Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the MACE Podcast. I'm your host, Marco Macente, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today, we are recording a special episode as we are recording live in Milan from the Italian-German Chamber of Commerce with my guest, Diana Brandl. Diana is an author, a coach, and international speaker, and she helps EAs and admin professionals to grow in their careers and master critical skills in the admin role. She's a digital nomad, so she's traveling to Italy this month, and we thought, why not organize an event with Diana in person to speak about something that can be important for EAs and PAs here in Italy? Throughout her career, Diana has always worked successfully for global companies such as Sony. She has a strong background in communication, and she's a dynamic networker. She continuously supported the role of the management assistant by speaking at international events and publishing various articles in Germany and abroad, focusing on digital transformation, personal branding, strategic networking, mentoring, diversity, and social media. She has her own blog, The Socialista Projects, and she owns the Future Assistant podcast, where I was invited, of course, 5 years ago, and where I had my first episode as a guest in a podcast. Now I'm running my own podcast, the MACE Podcast, and of course, this is not the first time that I invited Diana, but this is the third time, so Diana is not new to the MACE Podcast. This episode is entirely focused on goals, setting strategic goals, careers, and performance. We are going to speak about those kind of topics and how they can be relevant for EAs and PAs in their careers. How can we connect the strategic goals with career progression? Where is the intersection to let our goals help us move forward in our career? What are some practical KPIs that we can measure to make sure that our goals are aligned and set up well? And how can executive assistant and admin professionals be successful in setting up strategic goals with leaders that maybe are not valuing their role as we expect? More to come, and of course, enjoy our conversation. Hello, Diana. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for
Welcome to Italy, first of all. Welcome to the MACE Podcast, second of all. And third of all, welcome to AHK, the Italian-German Chamber of Commerce. We are hosted by an amazing team. I want to thank Irene and Carla because this is a podcast. This is an episode that we are recording live.
Yes.
This is a special one for the people that will be listening to us virtually, remotely, once this episode is going to be live in the MACE Podcast Library. So, how are you? How are you feeling about this initiative, first of all, and why are you in Italy? So, let's share a little bit of yourself.
First of all, thank you so much for bringing me to Milano, and hello to the live audience. Hello to everyone virtually.
Yeah, hello.
So today will be a challenge to look into eyes here and then look into the camera here. And there's another one coming. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. So thank you so much for bringing me here again, Marco.
Yes.
And coming to Milano is always very special. I came from Verona today, so a smooth arrival.
Yeah.
And I always love to be in Italy. We are here since the end of April. We are based in Verona, and you know how much I love the country.
Of course.
But I still need to practice my language skills, so
you
challenge me tonight.
So that's not the first time joining me in the MACE Podcast.
Yes.
You joined me already. It was in 2022 the first time.
Correct.
Last year, and then we have a third one this year. We are here tonight to speak about something very important for assistants and for the people that are listening to us. The topic and the theme of this episode is focused on strategic goal settings and performance. So I have already shared a little bit about you, about your background, and you are an international speaker, you are a trainer, and you speak a lot about goals, right? Especially for assistants. So speaking about those topics, goal and performance, how can goal be strategic when set? And do we have tools that can help us to set them strategically?
I have to tell you, when I started my career as an assistant, I was not about my goals. It was always the goals of my manager.
Yeah.
And this is what we do every single day. We're so focused on the goals of our teams, of our managers. But especially now, since assistants are becoming more strategic, it's very important, especially now, since we have the halftime of the year 2025. And it's good to reflect. It's good to remind ourselves, where are we standing?
Yeah.
Is there any specific thing I need to adjust? I need to update. I need to have a dialogue with my manager.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important that you look into what kind of goal setting tools are in the company. So lots of companies are working, for example, with OKRs, the objectives and key results, which is a wonderful, powerful goal setting framework. And this is a very interesting opportunity for assistants as well to look into the OKR system.
Yeah.
So for example, if you want to enhance the productivity of your executive, it's fantastic to go into the key results and to think about, okay, what is the meeting schedule conflicts I can reduce, for example?
Yeah.
Maybe deadlines are met.
Yeah.
Maybe the response time.
Yeah.
So I think I remember many years ago when I was an assistant, and I have 20 plus years of experience working for companies like Sony, supporting the CEO of Sony. We didn't look into these frameworks. We didn't have these opportunities. No one was aware of that.
Yeah.
So now, since we are more strategic and you are the master of, saving the time for your managers, I think it's important that we get this into our brains and to really narrow it down and let them know I can do faster, I can do better, I can look into conflicts, I can really manage your agenda in a different way.
Yeah.
And right now, I think is a perfect time to do an audit of your manager's agenda. I used to do this with my manager.
Yeah.
I always went in there and I felt like, okay, we need to talk about the meetings you keep on attending, the meetings you want to reduce, and I'm the one helping you to become more effective in that.
Yeah.
And this is like time saving. This is the most important thing, that we showcase how we can support them and also put it by numbers. Like I help you to reduce your meeting time by 20% because you're not productive at the moment and you don't need to be in every single room.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge sometimes because our bosses need to be ready to be more managed by us, by the assistant. And they need to give us more authority and the power to set our own goals, because at the end of the day, it's helping them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Diana. So let's take the first takeaway from this first question. And I know that the audience that is hearing us, they know already that there is a takeaway ready for us. So middle of the year, June, goal settings, assistants managers and leaders that are working with us, but this does not mean that we should focus only on others' goals. So we have own goals that we need to take care of. That's the first takeaway. And the second takeaway that I would like to highlight is that we have tools that can enable us to set goals strategically. So let's move forward. We have discussed about goals, about performance, but of course we have the career. Our career. We needed to own our career, and the goals that we set strategically help us to drive our career forward. So how can we connect strategic goals with our career progression? And where is the intersection to let our goals help us to move up and move on in our career, Diana?
Well, first of all, I want to add as well for the first question that make sure that you are aware of the wonderful tools that help you with your KPI tracking. Like there's Trello, there's Asana, there are like Microsoft Planner.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a Google product as well, but I cannot remember it. I know we have someone here tonight. But there are great tools that, help you, like a wonderful way of, look to your score, how you're performing within your KPIs. That's very important. Coming back to the next question, again, we are so busy with creating the vision for our managers. Sometimes we forget about our own.
Yeah.
But hey, it's your career. It's our career. And being an assistant means having a career for those who want. I must say I'm saluting those as well who openly say, I love to be an assistant. I want to stay an assistant. I don't want to become a chief of staff. I don't want to move into a project management role. And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I think as long as you are so clear with your own vision and also your long-term plans, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
When it comes to aligning your own goals, I always say, look into the company, look into the context, understand, the broader scope, because sometimes we are so busy in our bubble with our executives and we are so focused on them. But I think understanding really what's happening in the company and how I can narrow my own goals down. So what the company needs from me, like good onboarding, for example, creating an assistant network, because this helps you also to grow your own visibility. And here comes the career setting, because people will see you in a different spotlight. You're not always wearing this assistant hat, because you're moving towards supporting the company, not only supporting one person. So this is something that I always say when I just ask you, challenge yourself. How do I grow professionally when I set this specific goal for me?
Yeah.
Will this help me to create a new expertise? Will I get more influence? Will people see me in a different spotlight, not only the assistant to someone? And this helps you really to define new career steps as well.
Yeah, and the perception that others can have of you, right, as an assistant. And looking back in my career as well, when I was an assistant, and those kind of things were the ones that I was focusing on in order to, bring the added value that I could have and I could share within the team I was working in. So speaking about the onboarding, I was the point of contact to ensure that new people and new joiners could have a smooth onboarding and a seamless one. Or IT, why IT should contact each person? Should you be the point of contact, if you like IT, to be the one that IT can reach out to if there is any need within the team? Those insights are definitely the ones that we can use in order to define our goals and to connect the goals with our careers.
And what I also strongly recommend that you keep talking about, that you have your own goals. Sometimes we even need to push HR departments. We need to push, starting with our managers. They feel like, oh, you have goals, you're supporting my goals. But no, we need to be more independent, especially now with the dynamics of the world we are in right now. Who gives you the guarantee that our manager is with us for the next couple of years?
Of course.
So we constantly need to pitch our ideas, which is connected to the goal setting, and also have a growth mindset at the end of the day, because I think we can all make it happen if we are really focused and engaged and committed and are ready for upskilling, because that's what we need in this modern workplace.
I totally agree with you. And that's why we have, conversation like this one that we are having today, to raise the awareness and raise the consciousness of what it means being an assistant that is acting as an assistant, as an executive assistant that is strategically oriented and driven by the goals that, of course, are the one that matter, not just for the role, but also for the team and for the company in which assistants nowadays are working.
And try to differentiate also operational KPIs for you and the strategic KPIs, like onboarding is a long-term thing. The operational stuff can be the agenda management, for example. So that's also something you want to look into that.
Yes, and that's bring me to my third question. We spoke about the KPIs. How can we measure? You spoke about operational, you speak about strategic KPIs. So which are some KPIs that you can share with us in order to let us understand how we can practice with them and cascade them into the reality?
Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to my friend Lucy Brazier from Executive Support Magazine, because just in time, as she was aware that we're going to have the conversation here tonight, she created a wonderful list of KPIs, operational and strategic KPIs. And we are very happy to send them to you, because it's a very helpful list. And I just took a few out of it to read to you, so you have a feeling what can be an operational KPI, what can be a strategic KPI. And as we said, we're going to send it over whoever wants to have it.
And it will be visible also in the MACE Podcast.
Of course. So for example, start with operational KPIs, onboarding success rate for new hires, supported, event logistics error rate, time to resolve calendar clashes, average time saved through automation and tools, and the number of executive hours saved per month. And that's a very tricky one for me. This is what I did when I was back in my CEO assistant seat, like at Sony. Every couple of months, I went and did the calendar audit, because I really wanted to challenge my boss. First of all, if he needs to be in every meeting, I want to challenge his time, because I'm the productivity and efficiency manager of him. So I confronted him. I said, okay, here's my Excel sheet. Do you know how much time you spend in internal meetings and external meetings? Of course, there was travel time involved, and he had no clue. So when you present them these figures, they have no idea where their time goes into, because they give it in our hands. But I think we need to be more of the challengers by letting them know, is this really the room you need to be in? I'm here to challenge you, right? Because I'm your productivity manager. So I can highly recommend start doing this now. Again, have time. Also give them a chance to really understand where their time is spent. And this is a game changer. You can do it very fast, and also get an awareness for yourself where your manager's focus is.
Where we are.
Absolutely.
To work with them better.
And some strategic KPIs, maybe you're interested in listening to them. Number of projects led or co-led, number of process improvements implemented, executive visibility increased through support. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Because nowadays we see assistants who are also, really, really involved in the reputation management with their managers.
Yeah.
Not only within the company, but also outside. In Germany, for example, we see a lot of training for assistants that go into social media work. So they learn how to do social media. They learn how to prepare a roadmap of posts for their managers, because it increases the visibility outside on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a very wonderful strategic KPI. And also the contributions you're bringing when it comes to presentation and maybe budget tracking accuracy.
Yeah.
So there's tons of more in the list of Lucy. And again, we're very happy to send it to you.
And of course, I totally agree with you. Happy to share this feature, this tool. And how can an assistant adjust himself or herself looking at those KPIs? And the thing that one thing is the passion, right? That you have for something. For example, if someone has an economic background or an economic degree, he or she may be keen on adjusting more budgets and tracking, right? When there are budgets for projects and something like that. If a person is more oriented to time management, of course, saving time and track how you can save time as per the KPIs that you mentioned before is something that he or she can focus on. So let's say that we can personalize, and that's the beauty of the goals. These needs to be personalized.
And owning your strength.
Yeah.
Last year, I did my strengths coach certification. I learned a lot about positive psychology.
Yeah.
I learned about strength, owning strength, because sometimes we are so busy in working on our weaknesses, although it's even smarter than, increasing our strength if we push our strength.
Yeah, yeah.
So this helps you as well when you go into the dialogue with your manager about setting the right goals for you. Own your strength, pitch your strength, have them ready. Work on the growth mindset, because sometimes we are so busy with our fixed mindset. Yeah. We are not believing in ourselves. We are limiting ourselves. We are not ready for the next step. And we compare. That's the worst thing. We compare. And, please stay with you and own it yourself.
Focus on yourself.
It's very important.
Definitely, because each pathway of each single person is unique. So that's something that, of course, I love. And I agree with you as well on this topic. Let's move forward, because we touched some topics that are very important, that are pivotal for our conversation. We spoke about goals, we spoke about KPIs, and that's not the first time that we connect such a kind of topics to personal branding. We know that EAs, admin professionals all around the world, they need to deal with this topic. It is important to have a visibility. You mentioned that it is important to have a personal branding. So my question for you is, how can executive assistant, admin professional be successful in setting up strategic goals with difficult leaders that maybe are not valuing their role as we do? So that's about perception, that's about personal branding. How can this happen?
Well, I think this is the fight we always fight. I mean, they don't see what we own sometimes. Let's be honest, not everyone. I know there are great leaders out there, fantastic managers. And I had all kinds of managers in my career. Those who really saw my strength and they gave me room, they gave me access, they gave me a stage, they gave me projects. I was able to deliver so much more than the usual tasks are. But still, there are people out there who believe we do the whole day calendar management and flight bookings, and there's so much more.
Yeah.
And the question is, how do we define difficult leaders? I'm sure every one of us had a difficult leader.
For sure.
And maybe some ears are ringing now. But, when you want to catch difficult leaders, you need to make it about them. You need to show them the benefit for them. Yeah. What's in it for them? Sometimes when you are self-motivated, you want to pitch your own goals, and you make it about yourself, because, you have ideas, you want to be creative, and that is great. But, the way you want to pitch it, the way you want to do the storytelling, the way you want to really bring the idea to life is make it about them, make it about the company, make it about the team. And this is why we need to get more strategic. We need to understand the context. Yeah. And we need to understand the business, which is sometimes tough. I remember when I talked to some assistants from very technical companies, and they tell me, I'm sitting in a meeting, I'm writing a minutes, and it's so hard to understand what the managers talk about. And it takes time to really understand and get into the business talk. But, we learn, and having good mentors around us helps us to learn and to adopt. So make it about them, not about you, and try to catch their pain points. So what is the pain point, for example, like when it comes to improving their workflow, when it comes to optimizing decision making, when it comes to, in general, enhancing the efficiency. So the moment you pitch the idea about them, how can I help you? This is what I think I could do. May I suggest something? Then they understand, hey, this is my assistant and she's here to make me successful, right? Yeah. And this is the overall goal, because we want to make them successful and we want to lead from behind. Yeah. And this is why there are quite a few challenges with difficult leaders, especially if they don't give us the permission to lead and to orchestrate them. Yeah, yeah. And that's tough because sometimes they keep us in a limited low seat. Yeah. Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. Let's say that it's a journey. So it cannot happen from one day to another. True. If we deal with a difficult leader that does not allow us to set up our goals or to even speak about our goals, because we needed to focus only on the team's goals or on his or her goals, we need to adjust this perception with facts, of course, showing up, as you mentioned. Totally. And I totally agree with you. Keep the conversation warm about the goals and reminding them how they can benefit from having an assistant, having an executive assistant that, of course, can enhance the dynamics within the team, and of course can ultimately have an added value directly on the work that the business leaders or executive is gonna do.
Exactly. And what I also always tell my clients and my coachings and my trainings, like when you have your one-on-one with your manager, and even if it's just the last 1 or 2 minutes, speak about yourself. Because most of the time we are sitting there and we are listening, we are observing, we are trying to read our managers and they give us the things we need to organize, right? So we are in the receptive kind of behavior. But sometimes it's just, those last minutes when you just let them know what is on your agenda this week, what priorities you have, what you are working on. And maybe this is a lot of stuff that is not directly connected to them. Like you are running an internal assistant network. You are helping with the onboarding. You're part of the women's network. So there are so many different platforms we can work on, which is not directly connected to the managers. And this is something I really want to motivate you to do, because again, we are in a very dynamic workplace. And I have lost managers on a very high C-suite level. And I was always in charge of my own brand. So this is why I wanted to be seen, Diana, not only, oh, that's the assistant too. Yeah. I wanted to be seen like Diana. That's the one who created an internal assistant network. Yeah. That's the one who showed up here and has a passion for that. So, and that's why personal branding is very important for assistants. Also kind of a deconnection of our manager, because at the end it's you as well.
Let's say that we can feel and we can show up as indispensable and as a standalone, because if we consider ourselves as a standalone, we will be able to work more on our dimension and on the work that we're gonna do, right? Absolutely. For the managers and for the team in which we work.
Absolutely.
Moving on, Diana, wrapping up, is there any last thought you'd like to share with the audience today?
Don't stop fighting. Don't stop fighting. Don't stop, don't get tired talking about how important we are, especially now when we face the challenge of AI. And I'm so tired of all the discussions. Sometimes I talk to some trainer colleagues who are not, teaching the assistant field. And sometimes I have these conversations about, oh, is it going to be the assistant industry in a couple of years? And you should see me, when these discussions come up. Oh my goodness, I'm on fire. I tell them, why do you ask this question? This is absolutely the thriving time of assistance. Yeah. But you need to own it. You need to be super, super self-aware what you bring to the table, what impact your work has, not only to your manager, to the team, to the company. Yeah. So it's all about impact, of course. And that's why I have to tell you, you need to start storytelling. I know a lot of assistants love to be in the second row. They love to be a little bit more quiet, although they know their power, they know their influence. But it's time for the first row. It's really time for the first row. Yeah. And, honestly, we've learned so much from our leaders. We get free mentoring every single day by watching these amazing leaders. So whatever you want to pick from them, only the good part. Yeah. Because you want to bring that all to your brand, how you grow. and how you want to shine maybe in the next couple of years, how you do your job crafting, and how you find out what's my next step.
Yeah.
And if you feel like it's time for a chief of staff role, it's time for a project manager role, it's time for whatever, it's all in your hands.
Yeah.
Finding the right network, like we come here together tonight, talking to other people, be inspired by people who are already one step further than you are.
Yeah.
Find the right mentors and know your worth.
Yeah. So wrapping up, thanks a lot, Diana, for all these insights. The worth, the value is really the hot word, I would say, that can let us set our goals strategically and can let us see ourselves as strategic when working with the leaders and executives. So thanks a lot for joining me, for joining the audience for this episode of the MACE podcast. Thanks for bringing such a kind of insights that, of course, I'm sure that the audience will treasure. Till next time, thanks a lot, and have a nice evening with us ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.